Hello everyone, I am Vahid sir. Now the topic for the today's discussion is linearization in the process dynamics. So, what do you mean by linearization? Now let us say it is very important to study any control process or control system that to determine its transfer function. So determination of the transfer function is easy if the system is considered to be linear. If the system is non-linear, then can we determine the transfer function of the system? Yes, you can determine the transfer function of the system though the system is non-linear. But how? By converting this non-linear system into the linear system. Then how to convert this non-linear system into the linear system? There is a method called as series of expansion method, that we consider a non-linear system and convert this non-linear system into the linear system. For example, say Taylor series of expansion method. But you first understand what is the linear and non-linear system. Very first, if you recall, I have proved the derivation for single liquid level tank system. And if you know, I have considered here Q0, that is the outlet flow rate of the tank, is equal to H by R. Now, all of you are aware that this is the linear relationship that I have considered. But in actual practice, if you have studied the fluid mechanics, or then the relationship between the outlet flow rate is equal to some constant into square root of the head. Now let us see. No doubt this is a non-linear system. This system is a non-linear relation. This relationship is a non-linear relationship. However, in my derivation of single liquid level tank system, I have considered that the outlet flow rate and the head relationship is linear. That is Q0 is equal to H by R. However, the relationship between the outlet flow rate and the head is the square root relationship, and this square root relationship is nothing but a non-linear relationship. So what can we do? So it is very important to determine the transfer function of this non-linear system, because a chemical engineer has to come across a series or number of the non-linear physical processes, because most of the chemical processes are non-linear processes. So can't we determine the transfer function? Yes, absolutely, you can determine the transfer function. But how? So before explaining to you what is linearization, you first consider this some point, that the non-linear systems, these non-linear systems are approximated to linear systems. Means by using the methods of approximation, we consider these non-linear systems to be linear systems. Point number 2, the accuracy of your approximation. As you are doing the approximation, the accuracy really matters for it. So the accuracy of the approximation is good if it is approximated near its steady state value. So this is the basic fundamental you have to use there, that you have to consider the steady state, because the accuracy of the approximation will be good if you will consider it at its steady state, means lesser change. Then the system may be approximated. Now let us see what method of approximation I will use to convert this non-linear system to the linear system. That method is, the system may be approximated by using the Taylor series of approximation. By using the Taylor series of approximation, you can convert the non-linear system into the linear system. But what is the condition? Condition is that the approximation should be near its steady state point. The approximation should be near its steady state point. So, before converting the non-linear system into the linear system by using the Taylor series of expansion method near its steady state, it is very important first to understand what is linear system and what is the non-linear system, or what is the clear distinction between linear and non-linear systems. So before studying the difference between linear and non-linear system, let me explain you first what is linear system. Any system may be considered as a linear system if it will obey two principles. Very first principle is principle of superposition, and the second principle is being a homogeneous system. Now what do you mean by principle of superposition? Let us see here. Consider that Y is the output. Consider that Y is the output for which the input is f of x. Now, if I will change input to some another value x1, then I will get some another output, or let us consider for y1 output, your input is f of x1. And then I am again change, if I am again change the value of the output to y2, for which the value of input is f of x2. Then according to the principle of superposition, your summation of the output, that is y1 plus y2, should be equal to summation of the input, that is f of x1 plus x2. This is the principle of superposition. Consider that y1 is equal to f of x1 and y2 is equal to f of x2. Then y1 plus y2 is equal to f of x1 plus x2 is equal to suppose y. So if the summation of the two inputs are equal to the summation of the two output, then we can consider that this system obeys the principle of superposition, and this system is a linear system. Now, the next property of being a linear system is the principle of homogeneous system, or being a homogeneous system. Now, let us see how we can consider that system is homogeneous system. Consider that y is the output for which input is f of x. If I will scale up this input by some scaling factor, then accordingly the output should be get scaled up. Then the system is called as obeys the principle of homogeneous system. Let us consider that if y is equal to f of x, and if you scale it by some scaling factor such as alpha, so y1 will be converted into y1 is equal to f of alpha into x1. Then if I will scale up its input by some scaling factor, then y1 should be equal to alpha into f of x1, alpha into f of x1, or you can say that then the output should be equal to the scaling factor multiplied by the input. This means that if you scale input by some scaling factor, then the output should be also equal to that scaling factor multiplied by the output. That is called as the principle of homogeneous system. So these are the two basic properties of any system to be a linear system. Now let us see few example of this. So consider the example of the linear system. What I will do, I will plot a graph input versus output. So you can see that for the linear system, the graph is linear. Whatever may be the value of x, accordingly the value of y will be changed. If x2 is this, then y2 will be this. If x3 will be this, then y3 will be this. So as we changes the input, accordingly or proportionally the output will be get changed. Consider this, that how does this obeys the principle of superposition. Consider that y1 is equal to x1. Consider that this is y1, and for that x1, and for this y1 is this. And consider that this is x2, for which y2 is this. Then if I do the overall summation capital Y is equal to y1 plus y2, then that will be equal to x1 plus x2. That obeys this is nothing but it obeys the principle of the superposition. Summation of the input is responsible for the summation of the output, or summation of the input is equal to summation of the output. Now let us see how it obeys the principle of homogeneous system. If I will scale the input by some correcting factor or some scaling factor alpha into x1, then the output will be also get scaled up by that scaling factor alpha into y1. So this shows that this particular system obeys the principle of homogeneous system. So if both these principles get obeyed by this particular system, that system is considered as a linear system. Let us see now what is non-linear system. The non-linear system is that system which does not obey the principle of superposition and which does not obey the principle of homogeneous system. Let us consider an example. Consider the example that y is equal to x square. Or you can say that for input square, you are getting the output is equal to y. Let us sketch the graph input versus output. Then you can see that this graph will be seen in an exponential manner. So this is the example of a non-linear system. But still, if you want to check, you can check this based on these two tests. Very first test is principle of superposition. So So let us see what I should consider. I know this relationship, so I will consider y1 for, let us consider for input value x1 square, the output is y1, and for input value x2 square, the output is y2. So if I need the overall solution, that is capital Y is equal to y1 plus y2, that should be obviously equal to x1 square plus x2 square. Equation number 1. But according to the principle of the superposition, this y should be equal to y1 plus y2 should be equal to x1 plus x2 whole square. This is the principle of superposition. And we know that equation 1 is not equal to equation 2. How? Because x1 square plus x2 square is not equal to x1 plus x2 square. Hence, it does not obey the principle of superposition, because this bracket will be converted into x1 square plus twice x1 into x2 plus x2 square. So x1 square, that's okay. But you will get the additional term twice x1 into x2. Hence, this non-linear system does not obey the principle of superposition. Hence, this is the non-linear system. The same can be tested for the homogeneous system. Again, consider that for input value square, you are getting the output is equal to y. Now, if you will scale this input by some scaling factor, supposed to be, consider that for x1 square value, you are getting y. So, if you will scale the input by some value alpha, so alpha into x1 square, which will definitely not equal to the alpha into y1. Which will definitely not equal to the alpha into y1. These two terms will be so different from each other. So you can say that it does not obey the principle of homogeneous system. Hence this system, that is y is equal to x square, y is equal to x square, is the non-linear system. So this was regarding to the difference between linear system and non-linear system. And remember that whenever you want to determine the transfer function, it is very important to convert this non-linear system into the linear system. And these non-linear systems can be converted into the linear system by using any approximation method, popularly Taylor's series of expansion method, approximation method. But the condition for that, as I have explained earlier, that it should be operate under near the steady state value, so that you will get the proper approximation. As I have explained that most of the chemical processes are non-linear. So before getting their transfer function, it is very important to convert this non-linear system into the linear system. So let us consider the example of head and outlet flow rate relationship. All of you know that when we were solve the derivation of single liquid level tank system, we have seen that Q0 is equal to H by R. Actually, this is the linear relationship, but actual relationship between Q0 and head is a non-linear relationship. So these type of the problems can be solved by simply using the Taylor series of expansion method. And the accuracy of the expansion or accuracy of the approximation is good if you operate the system near its steady state point. So let us see the example, linearization of flow and head relationship. Now we know that head and flow relationship is Q0 is equal to H by R. But actually this is not very accurate. We know that the flow rate and head relationship actually it is a non-linear. Non-linear relationship means this is Q0 is equal to C1 into under root of H, where C1 is cost. So this Q0 is equal to under root of H is a non-linear relationship. But for determination of the transfer function, we need the linear relationship. So for that purpose, what I will do, as I have told earlier, I will use the Taylor series of expansion method. The Taylor series of expansion method near its steady state condition of any system where I am applying the Taylor series of expansion. So using the Taylor series of expansion, what I will do, I will expand the function Q0 of H. I will expand the function Q0 of H near its steady state condition. This is very important. Near its steady state condition. So expansion of the function Q0 of H, because Q0 is a function of H, I can expand Q0 is equal to Q Q0 at near steady state. I have already explained that the steady state is important. So Q0 is equal to Q0 HS plus dQ0 by dH at steady state HS into H minus HS plus d2 square Q0 by dH square HS into H minus HS square divided by factorial 2 plus similarly I can expand again this up to my wish. But what I will do, I will ignore this higher term because the value of this ignored term is very negligible. So I will consider only a significant step here, and that is after ignoring the higher term, equation 2 will become Q0 is equal to Q0 of Q0 at steady state plus dQ0 dH HS is at steady state into H minus HS. This is my equation number 3. Now let us see here. I have converted this. I have expanded the function Q0 by using the Taylor series of expansion, and then I have ignored the higher term. But we know that from the tank system method, we know that there is a definite relationship between head and head resistance and head. That is R is equal to dH by dQ0 HS means at steady state. So I know that this is the value of R that can be written in this manner. Therefore 1 by R is equal to dQ0 by dH. This is your equation number 4. So I will put this equation number 4 into this equation number 3 here. So what I will get? I will get here, I have put equation number 3, 4 in equation number 3. So I will get in this manner, that is 1 Q0 is equal to Q0 HS plus H minus HS, and instead of writing this dQ0 by dH, I will write here 1 by R. So this will be your equation number 5. That is Q0 is equal to Q0 HS plus H minus HS divided by R. Equation number 5. What I will do, I can write equation number 5 in this form. Q0 minus Q0 HS is equal to H minus HS divided by R. Now if you observe this, you can say that Q0 minus Q0 HS is nothing but the deviation variable, and H minus HS is also a deviation variable that away from the steady state. The difference from the steady state means we are operating near the steady state condition, and we have applied the Taylor series of expansion. So introducing the deviation variable, you will get here capital Q0 is equal to Q0 minus Q0 at steady state HS, and capital H is equal to H minus steady state head or HS, and I will put this in equation number 6. So what I will get? I will get here Q0 is equal to capital H by R, that is Q0 is equal to H by R. Here I have converted this non-linear relationship into the linear relationship, and that's why I have considered this in a time system, that is considered Q0 is equal to H by R. So here this non-linear relationship is converted into the linear relationship by using the Taylor series of expansion and considering the steady state or operated near the steady state condition. So you can say now that the outlet flow rate and head relationship is linear if expressed in terms of deviation variables, and operated near steady state conditions. So this is a good example that how to convert non-linear system into the linear system, and this process is known as linearization in the process dynamics, and it is very important to get the transfer function of the proposed system.